The kids are home from school, my friends. They're home from college. And who the hell are they? There's a very, very good chance that the kids who sent away to college are coming back different people. Now, this is not a monster movie. This is today's college and university scene. This comes from the College Fix. For most in higher education, the grades have been recorded, the tassels turned, the summer vacay is officially underway. There was no shortage of crazy campus stories that the College Fix covered. From free speech battles to white privilege lessons, here is a look at some of the most read and popular stories from each of the last 10 months. From August, professors allow students to pick their own grade. Yep, you read that right. Forget setting the bar high and encouraging students to strive for greatness. If students want to shoot for a B-, let them. Who are we to judge? September 2018, more Yale freshmen identify as LGBTQ than conservative, a survey finds. Yale University was founded in the 1600s by Puritans. Today, it's questionable whether a Puritan would be allowed to speak on campus. October, Make Them Scared websites post uncorroborated sexual assault claims against male students. In the age of #MeToo, due process and the standard of innocent until proven guilty have been replaced with #BelieveAllWomen. Never mind those pesky constitutional rights. From November, porn star gives college students an intro to BDSM training. Back in 2013 and 14, people were shocked when universities hosted those I Heart the Female Orgasm seminars. Trust us when we say it's a slippery slope, and higher ed is barreling down it head first. From December, university hosts Critical Look at Whiteness Forum. The Christian cartoon VeggieTales is racist because the villains are vegetables of color. The NFL is racist since most players are black and most coaches and owners are white. White women advance white supremacy when they support President Donald Trump. Welcome to college, folks. This is what passes for scholarly thinking nowadays. This past January, mothers in shock as daughters come home from college with mustaches, breasts removed. Remember that slippery slope we mentioned earlier? Yeah, well, we weren't kidding. From February, more than 1,000 scientists signed Dissent from Darwinism statement. It's not always bad news. This refreshing article proved to be very popular, showing people are hungry for reason and intellectual diversity to return to campus. From March, white privilege lecture tells students white people are dangerous if they don't see race. We've gone from, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character, to, quote, you better see the color of my skin or you're a racist. From April, university hosts No Whites Allowed faculty and staff listening sessions to promote inclusivity. Irony alert. Wake Forest University hosted a series of listening sessions for faculty and staff of color that aimed to advance inclusion efforts on campus because nothing fosters solidarity like separating people by race. From May, we have a tie. High school may erase mural of George Washington because it traumatized students. Trending, universities nationwide remove historical artwork deemed offensive. We're seeing history erased and rewritten before our eyes. 1984 is not fiction on American college campuses, and that's a very scary thought. Now here's a related item, also from the College Fix. A teacher in Fort Worth, Texas was suspended with pay after it was confirmed she made numerous anti-illegal immigration-themed tweets and directed some to President Trump. The now-deleted Twitter account of, quote, Georgia Clark, not her real name, I suppose, caught folks' attention early this week when some posts asked the president, quote, to crack down on immigration at Carter Riverside High School, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. A teacher by that name is listed on the school's website under the English department. On Wednesday, Clark was officially placed on leave. District spokesman Clint Bond said officials are reviewing their options as to what further action to take, if any. So, my friends, the kids are back from college. Are they the same kids you sent? I don't mean have they learned something, have they gotten a little bit more mature, a little bit more independent. I mean, have their minds been turned around? Is their thought process now bass-ackwards? Have they become liberal cream puffs? Well, you know, it's pretty funny and pretty bizarre and pretty strange and all that. But I really do feel for parents whose kids come back from college and say they think they want to transition their gender. Or, Mom, Dad, you should be disgraced by the fact that you voted for Donald Trump. Or, there are more important things in life than freedom of speech, like not hurting my feelings. My friends, over the past couple of decades, we've witnessed a historic transition. I'm not talking about male to female or vice versa, because that kind of transition only happens in people's imaginations. I'm talking about kids who get sent to college and come back different people with different values. Because when you go to college or universities these days, you are indoctrinated. You're expected to think and act just like everybody else does, just like the liberal administrators and the liberal professors. And if you don't, you are a pariah. And in fact, if you wear a red hat with MAGA on it, you may get beat up. You'll certainly get failed by your teachers. I have talked ceaselessly about what the hell is going on in college campuses around America. It's very insidious, it's very unhealthy, and it's un-American. So now that your kids are home, I want you to talk to them extensively, feel them out, see if they've shown any of these warning signs, and if they have, I would recommend thinking very seriously about taking them out of that school and sending them someplace where they will not be indoctrinated by crazy liberal values and ideas. I know they got friends there and they want to go back, and I know they're used to it and all that stuff. But if they're going to come back hating America, hating their parents, hating free speech, crying at the drop of a hat, then it's a losing proposition. You're paying tens of thousands of dollars to lose your children. Most important possessions. All right, it's Monday, and it's Real Truth, and I'm Howard Riell, and we'll be right back.
Before hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their jobs and pays little to no taxes, ask yourself, what do you really want in a realtor? You need a realtor who's honest and has integrity, a realtor who's focused on the client's bottom line, not the realtor's bottom line, who provides personal, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham & Associates, LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you. You can buy homes just about anywhere for all kinds of different deals. So why do you keep the basement trading for 20 years of service? Just like that. Ain't nothing just like that. Just like that. You don't just like that. Fine. Or nothing. Just like that. For all your gold and silver needs, all the basic tricks. At 951 459. Just like that. Whoever picks up in this, please help support the American Freedom Network. That offers a high-quality construction service. Established in 1990, Whoever Construction proven high-quality concepts and operating record all along the southern border. With licensed insured and health experience, knowledge, and skills to help you create absolute of your dreams. For your free consultation and non-obligation quote, give Doug a call at 303-517-8742 or visit him online at whoeverconstruction.com.
All right, guys, Monday here on Real Truth, and there are some very, very dangerous things happening in this country, and I kid you not. Most people think that the danger from the Mueller investigation is over, but it's not. You heard Mueller speak last week. What he did was play politics, try to feather his own nest, and in so doing reverse the American legal principle of innocent until proven guilty. This is something we shouldn't take too lightly. You know, we think that it couldn't possibly really happen, but it's really happening. Here is Lou Dobbs, Joe DeGeneva, who thinks that Robert Mueller should be disbarred. And I happen to agree with him. Here we go from Fox Business.
Yes, tonight, Victoria. The president did this. He's guilty. For your ear, he's guilty. You know, one woman after another. He just said he's Asian.
And my friends, let me jump in here because that's what Democrats have always wanted to do, going back decades and decades. They're not happy with the Constitution. They feel they should be able to change the law of the land whenever they feel like it. And if they run into the Constitution and it says something they don't care for, they simply ignore it. This is very, very dangerous because the Constitution is the steel spine of the United States of America. And if we begin tinkering with it, the entire edifice will crumble, which is what the Democrats want.
I want to put up.
Well, that's the point, Lou. I'm not going to wait for Bob Mueller to put himself in front of a committee. It's up to the Republicans, who traditionally are weenies, and this is going to be a test of their manhood. It's up to the Republicans to grab him, metaphorically, of course, by the scruff of the neck and drag him in to be questioned. Why isn't that already being done?
Just remember when he was
Well, folks, we need to pray that he does it. All we're asking for is justice and truth. It wasn't so long ago that you could get those things in America. Now they're rare commodities. But what they're investigating now are the fringes of this coup d'etat. And I'm telling you, the entire infection has to be carved out. Everyone guilty must be prosecuted and sent to jail. And you'll notice, by the way, that all these malefactors, all these people who are breaking rules and colluding and conspiring, they're all holdovers from the Democratic Obama administration. They're all Democrats. All. Item. From CBS Local, Sacramento. People in the Sacramento neighborhood said they're finding cats sliced in half and decapitated. This is happening in the Arden Arcade area, and neighbors want to warn others about the problem. My friends, just when you thought that the maniacs in California couldn't get any crazier, now we're getting this. Liberal stronghold California, the most liberal. By the way, as long as we're talking about California, I saw a piece on the internet last week. And you know, the Democrats have been crowing about the fact that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Well, all the votes that put her above Donald Trump's total all came from California. So that margin of victory that she had in the popular vote, all from one state. So when they talk about doing away with the Electoral College, that means California and New York and maybe Ohio, maybe Pennsylvania, will choose the president from now on, if that happens. And other states that don't have that mass of people, liberal people, they just plain won't count. That's why we cannot get rid of the Electoral College. Item from Breitbart. Only 11 employers and no businesses were prosecuted for hiring illegal aliens over American citizens for U.S. jobs last year, federal data finds. Although President Donald Trump's administration has increased interior immigration enforcement by increasing the total number of arrests and deportations of illegal aliens, results that have lifted the wages of millions of working and middle-class Americans, little to no progress has been made in terms of increasing the prosecution of businesses and employers that knowingly hire illegal aliens over American citizens. Unquote. Folks, I have to assume the editors at Breitbart listened to Real Truth because I have been beating the drum about this for months and months. More effective than a wall, and I want the wall, more effective than the wall is slapping an absolutely outrageous fine on employers for every single illegal that they hire. If Congress passed a law saying that businesses will be fined $500,000 for each illegal that they hire, you know what? End of illegal immigration. The fact that that hasn't happened tells you just how powerful the swamp still is, despite Donald Trump. Item from the College Fix. 6-year-olds think that if you change your clothes, you change sex. In a recent talk and subsequent internet post, a professor of psychology disputed the idea that children can honestly determine their gender identity, whether or not they're a boy or girl, at the earliest ages. Katie Alcock, a psychology instructor at Lancaster University in Lancashire, England, recently gave a presentation on childhood gender identity that she then turned into a post on Medium. In that post, Alcock states that she's, quote, very interested in how children learn about sex and about stereotypes, unquote, noting that transgender activists routinely insist that children as young as 3 or 4 are capable of deciding whether or not they're a boy or a girl. Alcock states that research into children's developing knowledge of sex and gender has been going on for decades. That research has revealed some telling consistencies, she writes. Quote, when boys and girls see all the girls at nursery wearing pink and having long hair, well, that's what girls do. And they also realize from what people are saying and from how their parents dress them, what toys they're given and what toys other children who look like them get, what they're supposed to be like, and what they're supposed to do based on the sex they are. So based on the idea that girls have long hair and boys have short hair, a 3-year-old boy is also age perfect in thinking that when appearances change, sex changes too. Until the age of about 7, yes, 7. In some children, it's older. Children think that when something changes its appearance, its underlying reality changes too. This doesn't just apply to sex, it applies to pretty much everything. This kind of generalization, Alcock notes, is generally, quote, a very useful skill for a baby or a child, unquote, insofar as it allows them to make associations between things with which they've had prior experience, such as food or automobiles. But, though this generalizing can help kids figure out how to be associative, it also means that impressionable children are giving the highly simplistic thoughts about sex. By the time children are about 6 or 7, they're getting better at understanding that objects don't change their real essence when they change their appearance, but they still think that people change their sex when they change their appearance. This is known as sex or gender constancy. Alcock writes, quote, some children can understand that men have penises and women have vaginas, but still think that changing clothing makes a girl into a boy. In other words, okay, well, that's enough words. We'll hit a commercial break. The bottom line is protect your kids, my friends. We'll be right back.
Was your home built between 1965 and 1975? If so, you may have a aluminum wire home. Aluminum wire can be had. These homes are around 50 years old now, using old electrical power that never lasted back in the day. Aluminum wire does not get better with time. They are much harder to observe and harder to sell as well. Aluminum wire repairs are like surgeons, focus on the permanent mitigation of the aluminum wire hazard. Call them for a quick inspection now. Aluminum wire 70299-4706. addiction. Yeah, those things are all pretty hard to find. Look for you at the street food for it. That's what it's doing. Never put the program. Quality for it. Offering our customers the best of it. I just want to prove that this is what they will offer. I'm going to start a decade redoing to make sure you're doing the themselves with care, quality, attention. We also offer a 5-year extension for it. We're also going to stand by for most products. A place roofing is only available to entities that need to get around. A place roofing, brand new service program. All today, 3 process roof. And you get 3 process. I'm Ryan, EMF mitigator. You work about 5G wireless cell towers in your area? Would you like to know if your home or office is being managed by a system that can exceed overhead power lines? What about powerful systems that will require you? EMF mitigators enhance the devices are state-of-the-art network tools. We run the business network, okay, and use more limiting and electric magnetic systems. In 2011, the International Agency for Research on Cancer classified radio frequency radiation as a 2E carcinoma. Other carcinomas distributed with arsen, lead, and copper. Take full of your code by calling EMF mitigators at 970-300-3414. Mention that you heard about it on KSMC 1360. We'll come to next to your home or office for $99. Discover what may be affecting you in your health environment. Call EMF mitigators today at 970-300-3414. We're reaching 24 hours a day. Knowledge just by you. KHNC, the heart of North Carolina. Stay tuned. Knowledge just by you. KHNC.
All right, folks, welcome back to Real Truth. Former Texas prosecutor Sidney Powell also weighed in on what Mueller had to say last week. She says that he upended the rule of law. And I think she's right. Here she is being interviewed. Let's give a listen.
Mueller formally closed.
By the way, this is from the Epoch Times.
Former Texas prosecutor Sidney Powell. She's ranked by her Texas peers as a super lawyer. We discussed the implications of special
My friends, remember, if this can be done to the President of the United States, it can be done to you and me. So anytime a cop comes over to talk to us, if there is a presumption of guilt, what chance do we have?
Probable cause to indict.
friends, I assure you, Bob Mueller knows everything that Sidney here is saying, Sidney Powell. He knows this. He's not a rookie. He's not a student. He is a veteran prosecutor. So when he upends our system of justice by declaring a presumption of guilt rather than innocence, he's doing it intentionally. He's doing it intentionally. He's trying to warp justice. He's trying to make an innocent man look guilty. And once again, as I said before, this is the modus operandi of the left, of the Democrats.
And there's a lot of that in the Mueller report, too.
And my friends, that is the very fingerprint of the Democrat Party, because their MO is division. Division between economic groups, between races, between ages, geographic divisions. Divide and conquer is what the Democrats have always done, and this has their fingerprints all over it. Bob Mueller was playing to the Democrats in the House, saying, look, I've gone as far as I can. I want you guys to pick up the trail, and you go ahead with impeachment. That was the purpose of his 8.5-minute diatribe. It stinks, it's unprofessional, and I think they should look into disbarring him to make sure he never goes on any other crusades that fly in the face of the Constitution and the good of the American people. Bob Mueller is a political hack, and he's got to pay for his crimes, if there were any, alleged crimes. We'll be right back.
Join us and don't miss the moment of the Alex Jones Show, your number one source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't believe in them. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are legally 1776. Exclusive reports, live coverage, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360 AM. The Alex Jones Show on KHNC, the heart of the world. The Patriot Trading Group is a different kind of gold and silver company, cleaning up the industry for 21 years. Are you tired of the high-pressure sales tactics, the constant phone calls? Are you done with the bait and switch? You just want to be treated fairly with honesty and respect? That's exactly what you did when you call 800-951-0592. You have my word on it. I'm Joe Jacob, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Check us out online at allamericangold.com. Are you staring out the window of the screen in the lush green yard of backyard barbecue? Don't think. Or you know it could be behind for that. Don't let the acre with don't be that guy. Call Turf Famers Landscaping at 970-460-TURF or visit our website at turffamerslandscaping.com. We will get your yard construction. Specializing in maintenance and install of commercial and residential property. We pride ourselves in our clean cut and approachable crew for consistently and quickly detailing your property. Visit our website at turffamerslandscaping.com. Our install crew can transform your backyard into the outdoor living space with all the tools. Call me, Brian, at 970-460-TURF for a free walkthrough and estimate with me and discuss the best options for your landscaping needs. Family owned and locally operated. We've been serving Northern Colorado for over 18 years. Thank you for your support and supporting KHG.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business had House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy on, talking about the tariffs that the president is applying to Mexico, tensions with China, censorship of conservative voices, and impeachment, the whole enchilada. I hope I'm not in trouble for saying that. And his comments are very, very interesting. Here we go, Maria Bartiromo.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy joining me exclusively this morning.
So why is the president fighting battles on multiple fronts? That's an easy one. Because we're being attacked on multiple fronts. We're being attacked by China and by Mexico and by the Democrats. We're being attacked. And I don't want a president who says, well, I'm busy fighting with the Chinese. I haven't got time to pay attention to the Mexicans. You know, I'll tell you a personal story. Back when I first started studying karate, back when I was 17, we did an exercise where someone would stand in the middle and two people would attack from opposite sides and you had to react. Well, it was my turn in the middle and I was attacked and I didn't do the right thing. And the second time I didn't do the right thing. And the third time I didn't do the right thing. And the fourth time, when they both came in at me, I struck at both of them simultaneously and the sensei stopped the class and congratulated me. But that's what Trump is doing. If China wants to do bad things to the American people, and so does Mexico, then he's got to fight with both of them. If the Democrats want to sell out America and help our enemies, then he's got to fight with them also. The president is a fighter, thank God. Because there's never been a time in recent memory when we've needed a fighter more than we do right now.
We should have a national discussion about
Excuse me. I seem to remember there was a president before Donald Trump. Barack Obama was in the White House for 8 years. Why did he do nothing about China? Why did he do nothing about the crisis at our border, which goes back even before he came around? Why have all the previous presidents not done anything about this? The answer is that they represented the power elite. while Donald Trump represents the American people.
When it comes to rare minerals, we can actually produce those in America. We should be passing legislation today that allows us to mine those, makes it easier to mine those, so we're not beholden to China.
Yeah, I think you make a lot of really important points. Speaking of censorship, because Chinese people will never hear about Tiananmen Square or 30th anniversary. You're not going to get any information about it because they're censoring it. But we've got censoring going on right here in America, something that you've been leading the charge on in terms of Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Now, the Wall Street Journal was reporting that the DOJ is readying an antitrust suit against Google. Where is this going, and how worried are you that you're going to see censorship of conservative voices going into the 2020 election?
Well, we've already seen that activity take place. If you looked at what Google did to the California Republican Party right before the election, said our ideology was Nazism. We saw what happened after 2016. The power of these companies. Remember, Google was a company that started and said, don't be evil. They no longer have that motto. They now have a monopoly where 90% of all searches go through Google. In 2013, the FTC actually looked at this. They found that their behavior, the way they treated other companies was wrong, the way they abused their monopoly power. And they were supposed to correct themselves, even though staff wanted to go further. I think it's right to look at this because the power of that first placement of where you search something can influence what an individual does.
Yeah.
But the way they treated other companies, I mean, this is something that has to be looked at. Three main companies control so much of our life, from Amazon, Facebook, and Google.
Yeah, but you're right. You put your most, sensitive things in that Google search bar and,
And by the way, when these companies do the wrong thing, when they start censoring when they shouldn't be, when they start cutting back on people's free speech, keep in mind that all these companies are liberal companies, leftist companies, Democrat-supporting companies. I said it before, I will say it again. It's always the liberals who are the true censors, who are the real Nazis and the real racists. It's always from the left. And the reason they've got to be investigating companies like Google and Facebook is because they lean leftward, away from the American people, away from the American dream. Let's take a break, and we'll finish up Real Truth right here. Go nowhere.
Join us and don't miss the moment of the Alex Jones Show. It's your #1 source for real independent media. Find out what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. InfoWars is pro-America, pro-family, pro-freedom. We are legally 1776. Exclusive reports, live covers, information you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow's news today. Stay informed by listening to KHNC 1360. The Alex Jones Show on KHNC, the heart of Northern Colorado. Find more just about anywhere in the world for all kinds of different deals. So why do you use the Patriot Trading Group 20 years ago? Just like that. 8+ ratings of benefits. Just like that. Open price. Just like that. Real just like that. Buying or selling? Just like that. For all your gold abilities, call the Patriot Trading at 800-951-0592. Just like that. Tax season, traffic, bills, or just plain tax season. Come fly fish the North Platte River. Trout fishing vessel. By Brian Henry Trout Fishing Vessel. 70460-8873. Or visit our website at Trout Fishing Vessel. Servicing the whole North Platte River from City Canyon to Canyon. Target the aggressive plane vessel. Floating and shipping inspection at the river. 4 hours north of Pittsburgh. 1 hour west of Dallas. With a trip at troutfitness.com. 70460-8873. Very beginner friendly. Approximately 8 hours on the trip. Practicing to the season 5. All year. 1 for 2 and
Folks, let's finish the way we started by looking at what the hell's going on at college from the College Fix. A 22-year-old female University of Utah student reported her business professor to campus administrators for, among other things, assigning too many historical texts written by influential male economists of the past. Quote, "I understand the importance of studying the work of those before us and the importance of context," wrote the student in a complaint to the university's bias reporting system, where she labeled the professor's transgressions, quote, "derogatory, degrading, and intimidating, thereby causing a, quote, hostile learning environment," unquote. So she complained to the bias reporting system because she had to study too many male economists. You're starting to get an idea of the damage being done to kids now? Item right back to the College Fix. One of the largest universities in Virginia hosts nearly a dozen alternative graduation ceremonies, specially tailoring the event to fit numerous student backgrounds and demographics, including LGBT students and veterans. The 10, quote, cultural achievement ceremonies at Virginia Tech offer unique graduation events for numerous students, such as Jewish graduates, African American, and Native Americans. The ceremonies, quote, include a spectrum of underrepresented populations on campus, as well as graduates within the recovery community and military veterans, unquote, according to a new release from the school. So, folks, you remember that thing about all people being equal and content of your character? You forget all that. We're going back to segregation and balkanization. Item from the Daily Mail. Wild-eyed televangelist Kenneth Copeland appears unhinged in an interview where he defends his $760 million fortune and says he needs to use 3 private jets because, quote, demonic environment on commercial flights are not good for a preacher, unquote. In 2016, he called flying commercial getting into a long tube with demons. The 82-year-old claims he wasn't talking about the people on the planes, but he said watching someone get dragged off a plane made him want to punch. He asked, "Do you think that's a good environment for a preacher to be?" He said, "I can't be doing that when I'm getting ready to preach." Flying commercial meant, quote, he could no longer do what I was called to do, and hinted the risk he may lose his luggage was a concern, unquote. Item from the Hill. Democrat activists booed former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper on Saturday after he warned party faithful about the perils of embracing socialism and socialist positions ahead of next year's presidential race. So, folks, what are we going to get from the Democrats in 2020? Here's Hickenlooper speaking out against socialism, and he's booed. Booed. Item from Real Clear Politics. Senator Elizabeth Warren was grilled for her claims of Native American ancestry by the hosts of The Breakfast Club, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne the God, with Charlemagne asking, "When did you find out you weren't?" unquote. My friends, this is even better as a video. Go on YouTube and find this, because they eviscerate Elizabeth Warren, and that can only be a good thing. I think I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to pick up tomorrow. By the way, anybody ever hear from Elizabeth Warren anymore? Or is the fact that she has attained laughingstock status finally put an end to any nonsense about her wanting to be president, aside from the fact that she's a nitwit? You're going to start to see these candidates dropping out one by one, and that's a good thing. Whoever's left at the end, whether it's Biden or any of the other morons on the left, they're going to be easy pickings for President Trump, whom I predict right now will win a relatively easy re-election. And that's good news for thee and me. I'll see you tomorrow with more Real Truth, my friends. Hasta luego.